Earth was silent one night, then 500,000 human ships appeared. Sci-fi Earth was quiet that night. Too quiet. The usual hum of cities, the sound of cars, and the chatter of people seemed to vanish all at once. Streetlights flickered, traffic stopped mid-road, and in homes across the globe, televisions went black. It was as if the world itself had paused. Alex Carter, an engineer living in Chicago, noticed it first when his apartment lights went out. He was in his kitchen, holding a mug of coffee, staring at the ceiling. "What?" he whispered to himself. He put down the mug and walked to the window. Outside, the streets were silent. No cars moved, no people walked, not even a dog barked. At the same time, across the Atlantic in London, Lisa Monroe, a linguist, sat at her desk surrounded by books and computers. She was working late on a translation project. Suddenly, the computer screens went dark. The clocks in her room stopped ticking. Lisa froze. She ran to the window. The city was still. The usual distant hum of traffic was gone. The silence pressed in on her like a heavy blanket. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks, a military liaison stationed at a U.S. command center, felt the same strange pause. All the monitors showing global communications went black. Phones stopped working. Daniel stared at the main screen. "What is happening?" he asked aloud. Nobody answered. The silence lasted only a few minutes, but it felt like hours. Then, slowly, the sky began to change. A strange shimmer appeared above the clouds, like heat waves rising from the ground on a hot day. At first, people thought it was lightning or a storm forming, but it was not. Alex watched from his window. As the shimmer grew stronger, shapes began to form. At first, they were tiny, like distant stars, but they moved closer, and Alex could see the shapes clearly. They were ships. Not just a few, not even a fleet. There were thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands, and they were moving in perfect formation. Lisa saw the same thing in London. The sky was filled with ships, moving silently and glowing softly. The people in the streets began to gather, pointing upward, gasping and taking pictures. Social media started working again for a brief moment, and the images went viral instantly. Daniel's team at the command center was in chaos. "Sir, the satellites are picking up. A massive fleet," one of the analysts said. "We've never seen anything like this."
It's human technology."
"Human?" Daniel asked. "That can't be. These are impossible ships." He had worked on advanced space projects, but nothing like this. The ships were sleek, moving in shapes and patterns that no human had ever created. Yet the sensors confirmed it. They were human. Then, a message appeared. Not on computers, not on phones. It came as a broadcast across all communication devices at once. A calm, steady voice spoke in English, clear and strong. "This is humanity. We are from the future. We have come to save ourselves and to save you." The words sent shivers down Alex's spine. Lisa gasped. Daniel clenched his fists. The voice continued. "In the coming centuries, humanity faces extinction. We have traveled back to prevent this. We are your descendants. Trust us. Work with us. The survival of our species depends on your actions tonight." People froze. Some screamed. Some cried. Governments scrambled to respond, but no one had a plan for this. In cities across the globe, people were staring at the sky, watching the unimaginable. Hundreds of thousands of human ships, hovering silently above the earth. Alex ran to his computer, trying to connect to online forums and news outlets. Everything was jammed with signals from the fleet. He couldn't get a message through. He opened his phone and tried to call his sister. The call went through for a second, then dropped. The network seemed overloaded. Lisa in London tried to calm the people outside her building. She explained what she could understand from the message. "They say they are humans from the future," she told a small group of onlookers. "They are warning us about extinction."
They want to help us. Daniel called an emergency meeting with military leaders.
"We need to assess whether this is a threat," he said. "We don't know what they want."
We need to be ready for anything.
Meanwhile, Alex's mind raced. He had spent years dreaming about space travel, about humanity reaching the stars. But this was beyond any dream. These ships were massive. Each one was the size of a city block or larger, and yet they were all perfectly synchronized, moving like one organism. Lisa felt a strange sense of hope mixed with fear. She had always studied language and communication. Now she faced the most important message humanity had ever received. She tried to translate the future humans' intentions. They seemed calm, rational, and desperate. They had survived something terrible, and they had come to warn the past. Daniel and his team began analyzing the fleet's movements. "They're not attacking," he said. "Look at the formations. It's almost ceremonial, like they're showing us something. They want us to understand that they mean no harm, at least, not yet." The world tried to respond. Governments sent messages, but the future fleet ignored them. Scientists tried to scan the ships, but the technology was too advanced. Military radars and satellites couldn't penetrate the shields surrounding them, and the ships themselves did not fire any weapons, did not make any aggressive move. Alex felt a strange pull to the fleet. He did not know why, but he knew that understanding them was important. He remembered his work on temporal physics, on theories of time travel and alternate futures. Maybe this was why he was alive in this moment, to see it, to help. Lisa worked tirelessly to decode the subtle patterns in the transmissions. She noticed that the messages were repeating across multiple frequencies, almost like a song or a code. She began to write it down, trying to make sense of it. Daniel coordinated with world leaders, urging caution. Do not fire. Do not approach aggressively. If they truly are from the future, any mistake could be catastrophic, he warned. Hours passed, and still the fleet hovered above Earth. People started calling them the Return. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel became part of the small group of civilians and officials who tried to understand the fleet's purpose. Finally, after what felt like eternity, the future humans spoke again. Their voice filled the skies, calm and authoritative. "We will not harm you. We will not take your planet. We come only to prepare you for the survival of humanity. Look to the stars, for that is where your future will be saved." Alex looked at the sky and felt awe like he had never known. They believe in us," he whispered. Lisa nodded. "Not just in us. They believe in what we can become." Daniel, standing in the command center, finally allowed himself a small smile. "Then, maybe, just maybe, we have a chance." That night, Earth was silent, but it was not empty. Above the planet, 500,000 human ships floated, glowing softly, waiting for the first step of a new beginning. And on the ground, humans everywhere looked up, realizing that their story was not yet finished and that they were part of something much bigger than they had ever imagined. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel stayed up all night, watching, listening, and thinking. The world outside was quiet. But inside every person who knew, the heart of humanity was beating louder than ever. For the first time, humanity understood that it was not alone, not in the universe, and not in time itself. The future had returned to guide them, and Earth would never be the same again. As dawn approached, the ships began to move in new formations, signaling something, though no one could yet understand what. People across the globe pointed at the sky, awestruck. Children laughed and cried at the same time, holding their parents' hands. Scientists, politicians, and ordinary citizens realized that this was the moment the history books would remember forever. And somewhere in the sky, Alex felt certain that humanity's story was just beginning. The next morning, the world woke to a sight it had never imagined. 500,000 human ships hung in the sky, moving slowly, perfectly in formation, glowing like stars. Across the planet, people stared upward in wonder, fear, and disbelief. Governments were still trying to respond, but the fleet was already sending clear signals. They were not here to destroy. They were here to help. Alex Carter stepped out onto the streets of Chicago. People were gathered in small groups, pointing to the sky, whispering and taking photos. He could feel the excitement, but also the fear. He walked quickly to a nearby plaza where a few scientists had gathered, trying to understand the fleet. Lisa Monroe was in London, pacing in her apartment. She had spent the entire night recording the transmissions from the fleet. Their message was simple, but full of weight. Humanity would face extinction unless the timeline was changed. Lisa tried to make sense of it. How could humans survive such a disaster? What could people of the present do that the future humans could not? Daniel Brooks was in the U.S. Command Center. He had been awake for hours, coordinating with world leaders. The military had decided to keep forces on alert, but avoid any confrontation. Daniel studied the fleet on radar. There were no signs of weapons deployment. The ships were enormous, shaped like smooth long triangles, circles, and strange organic forms. Every movement was precise, as if guided by a single mind. Their voice came not through speakers, but directly into devices everywhere. It was calm, strong, and strangely comforting. We are humanity from the future. We have traveled back to save ourselves and you. In our time, humanity faced destruction. We barely survived. Our survival depended on the actions of people in your time. Alex and Lisa both heard it clearly. Alex's knees felt weak. They really are from the future, he whispered. The fleet began sending information to the computers of scientists around the world. It was advanced, almost magical, yet understandable. There were designs for energy systems, medicine, and space travel that humans had never imagined. But the future humans were careful. They shared only enough so that present-day humans could understand it. Too much could break the timeline. Lisa stared at the data. It's incredible, she said softly. If we use this right, it could change everything. In Chicago, Alex saw a small group of military and civilian leaders being summoned by a future human ship that had descended closer to the city. A large, glowing ramp extended from the ship to the ground. A human stepped down. She was tall, dressed in a uniform that shimmered in silver and blue. Her hair was dark, pulled back neatly. Her eyes were steady and calm. "My name is Emma Hale," she said. "I am a commander of this fleet. We have come to prevent the extinction of humanity. Some of you will help us. Some will not understand. But time is short. We must work together." Alex and Daniel were chosen to board the ship with a few others. Lisa was included because of her ability to understand languages and messages. Inside, the ship was unlike anything they had seen. The walls glowed softly. Panels moved without touch, responding to thought and voice. The air smelled faintly metallic but fresh. Emma led them to a large chamber filled with holographic displays. A 3D map of the galaxy floated in the center. Stars, planets, and strange glowing lines marked paths through space-time. This is the region we come from, Emma explained. Humanity spread across these stars, but a coalition of alien species hunted us. They tried to destroy every human colony. Only a few survived.
We barely made it.
Daniel frowned. Why did they want to destroy humans? They saw humanity as unpredictable and dangerous, Emma said. We did not fit their plans. Our creativity, our ability to adapt, our stubborn survival, it made them see us as a threat, and they nearly succeeded. Alex looked at the map in shock. You mean humans almost went extinct? Yes, Emma said, almost. But we used every resource, every skill to survive. And then we discovered a way to travel through time. We came back to this moment to prevent the events that would lead to our near destruction. Lisa tried to understand. So, you are telling us our future is in danger, and only we can change it? Emma nodded. Yes, your actions now will decide whether humanity survives or dies. That is why we are here. And that is why we need your help. The group spent hours studying the future humans' technology. Alex could hardly believe it. Ships that could fold space, energy systems that ran clean for centuries, medicine that could cure almost anything. But Emma warned them repeatedly. Use this knowledge carefully, she said. If too much is used too soon, it could collapse your timeline. You must understand first, then act. Daniel felt the weight of responsibility. He was used to making military decisions. But this was different. This was not just about defending a country. It was about saving an entire species. Over the next few days, Earth began to adapt to the presence of the fleet. People started calling the future humans the Return. Governments opened limited communication. Scientists worked alongside them, and civilians watched the sky constantly. Alex spent hours learning about the fleet's energy systems. He realized that even small improvements in power generation could change life on Earth. Lisa translated messages and patterns from the fleet, finding instructions hidden in repetition, almost like a code within a song. Daniel coordinated with the military, making sure no one tried to attack the ships. Emma watched them closely. You will all be tested, she said. Not in battle at first. You will be tested by your own fears, your own doubts. Only if humanity can trust itself, only if you can work together, will you survive what is coming. One evening, Alex sat alone on a roof in Chicago, staring at the ships above. He thought about his life, his small problems, and then at the enormity of what was happening. We have to do this, he whispered. We can't fail. Lisa, in London, felt the same determination. She looked at the sky, writing down notes from the fleet. She realized that communication was the key. Humanity had survived many disasters, not just because of technology, but because people had learned to understand each other, to cooperate. Daniel, in the command center, felt a growing sense of unity. The nations of Earth were still cautious, but the presence of the fleet forced them to work together. Borders and disputes seemed smaller when the survival of the species was at stake. The fleet continued to provide guidance. They sent ships closer to Earth, landing in remote areas to demonstrate technology. People saw crops grow faster, Clean water systems appear and medical treatments that saved lives instantly. But Emma reminded everyone, these are demonstrations. Your future depends on what you build yourselves. Do not rely only on what we give. Then a new message came from the fleet, stronger and clearer than before. The alien coalition is aware of the temporal disturbance. They are sending scouts. Your timeline is fragile. Trust in each other. Prepare. The words shocked everyone. The danger was real, and it was close. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel realized that they were no longer just observing history, they were part of it. Alex spent long nights learning about folding space, energy systems, and navigation. He discovered that small actions could have massive consequences. A tiny mistake could destroy everything. Lisa studied the patterns in the fleet's transmissions, discovering hidden messages that revealed human traits the future valued most: creativity, empathy, courage, and stubborn determination. These traits, she realized, were what had made humans impossible to erase. Daniel coordinated defenses, working with scientists and engineers from the present and the future. He realized that strategy alone would not save humanity. People had to believe in themselves. Emma called a meeting one evening. "You are ready for the next step," she said. "Soon you will meet the first scouts from the alien coalition. You must show them that humanity is not weak. That we are unpredictable. That we will survive."
Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. "We can do this," he said quietly to himself. "We have to." Lisa looked at the sky where thousands of ships hovered, glowing softly. "We are not alone," she whispered.
"And we are not helpless." Daniel nodded. "Humanity is stronger than we think. And now the future is giving us a chance." The night ended with the fleet forming new patterns above Earth. They were teaching, guiding, and warning at the same time. People across the planet watched in awe. They could see the path forward, but it would not be easy. The future humans had returned not just to save themselves, but to awaken the potential in the present. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel realized that everything they had known about the world was about to change. And as they looked up, they understood the truth. Survival would not come from weapons, or power, or fear. It would come from courage, trust, and the willingness to rise together. Above them, the fleet glowed softly, waiting for the day when humanity would finally prove it could take its place among the stars and survive what was coming next. The following days on Earth were tense. The sky was still crowded with the 500,000 ships of the return. People had begun to accept their presence, but fear lingered. The future humans' warning about alien scouts had everyone on edge. Governments worked together more than ever, but no one knew what to expect. Alex Carter had been assigned to a command group on one of the largest ships hovering above Chicago. He was learning about space navigation and communication systems. Each lesson revealed just how far humans could go with the technology of the future. He spent hours studying holographic maps of the galaxy, tracing the routes the fleet had taken and the locations where humanity had survived. Lisa Monroe continued her work decoding messages from the fleet. She had discovered patterns that were like a hidden language. The future humans were sending guidance not only about technology, but also about human behavior, how to think, how to cooperate, and how to survive. Lisa realized that intelligence and creativity were just as important as ships and weapons. Daniel Brooks worked with the Global Defense Forces. Military leaders were still skeptical, but they could not deny the obvious. The fleet's technology far surpassed anything Earth had ever built. Daniel focused on building coordination between the present-day military and the fleet. He wanted to make sure that if the alien scouts arrived, Earth would not be unprepared. Then, one day, the first alien scouts appeared. They came silently, small but fast ships that moved like predators across the stars. The fleet detected them immediately and formed defensive patterns around Earth. The returned ships glowed brighter as they took position, shielding the planet below. Alex watched in awe as the scouts approached. "They're real," he whispered. Lisa held her breath, trying to analyze the scout patterns. "They're fast, very fast, but they are predictable in some ways."
That might be our advantage. Daniel barked orders to the command group.
"Prepare defensive grids. Do not engage unless necessary. Our goal is to survive and learn their weaknesses." The scouts circled Earth, scanning, probing, and testing. They fired small energy pulses at the fleet, but the ships of the return absorbed the blast without damage. The humans' weapons did not fire back immediately. Instead, the future humans observed and calculated. Emma Hale addressed Alex, Lisa, and Daniel. "This is not a battle yet. We are testing. They are measuring our response, our coordination, and our unpredictability. This is the first test for humanity." Alex felt his stomach tighten. He had faced challenges before, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. Failure could mean the end of humanity itself. The scouts advanced closer. One of them fired a larger energy pulse directly at a city on Earth. The return's fleet moved instantly, creating a shield that absorbed the attack. People on the ground watched in awe as the sky glowed with protective energy. No damage came to the city, but the threat was clear. Lisa noticed patterns in the scouts' movements. "They are cautious," she said. "They expect us to panic. They are studying how we react." Daniel nodded. "Then we cannot panic. We have to be unpredictable."
We have to show them humanity is not weak. Emma called a strategy meeting aboard the ship.
"The scouts are observing. We will show them what makes humanity unique. Not just our technology, but our choices, our cooperation, our creativity." Alex was in charge of guiding one of the smaller fleet divisions through a series of movements that would appear random to the scouts, but coordinated with the larger fleet. Lisa monitored communications, ensuring messages were precise and clear. Daniel coordinated defenses on Earth, ready to mobilize if anything broke through. The maneuver began. Hundreds of ships moved as if alive, weaving in and out, creating illusions of vulnerability, then regrouping instantly. The scouts were confused. They could not predict the humans' patterns. Every time they tried to attack, they were blocked or forced to retreat. On the ground, people cheered and watched the sky. It was the first time humanity saw itself as strong and capable. Alex felt a rush of pride. "We're doing it," he said. "We're showing them we can fight." Lisa noticed that the scouts were retreating slightly. "They're learning," she said. "They know we are more than just numbers." Daniel realized the importance of what was happening. This is not just a fight. This is a message. Humanity is unpredictable, and that is our strength. For hours, the maneuver continued. The scouts attacked in waves, but each time the humans adapted. Alex guided ships through complex patterns, dodging attacks while protecting Earth. Lisa translated the subtle messages from the return, helping the fleet respond quickly. Daniel coordinated Earth's defenses, ensuring no cities were harmed. Then, a scout ship broke formation and attempted a direct attack on a key fleet ship. Alex noticed it instantly. He guided a group of ships to intercept it. The maneuver was risky. If he failed, the ship would be destroyed, and the humans' morale could break. The interception was perfect. The scout was trapped in a field created by the fleet. It could not escape. The return sent a signal, disabling the scout without harming the pilot. The scout was captured for study. Emma approached the group. "Excellent work," she said. "You have passed the first test. You showed courage, creativity, and coordination. Humanity is beginning to understand its strength." Alex felt relief wash over him. "We did it," he whispered. Lisa smiled. "This is just the beginning. But we proved something important. We are not helpless." Daniel looked at the sky where the scouts were retreating. The coalition will come again. But now they know humanity is not weak. We have a chance. Over the next few days, the fleet and humans studied the captured scout. It revealed details about the alien coalition. They were highly advanced, highly coordinated, and believed that no species could survive without control. But the scout also revealed a weakness. They could not predict creativity, emotion, and collaboration. Humanity had an advantage they did not understand. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel worked with the return to prepare for future encounters. Alex learned to guide fleets through space with precision. Lisa continued to decode messages and patterns, discovering new strategies embedded in the fleet's data. Daniel coordinated Earth's defenses, ensuring all nations worked together, despite past rivalries. Emma reminded them repeatedly, "The coalition expects weakness. They expect fear. You must show them strength, unity, and unpredictability. That is how humanity survives." The next wave of scouts arrived faster and in greater numbers. This time, the humans were ready. The return led Earth's forces through complex maneuvers, drawing the scouts into traps, forcing them to retreat repeatedly.
The humans' coordination and creativity confused the aliens. Alex felt exhilarated.
He had never experienced anything like it. Every movement mattered. Every decision could save lives. And every success proved that humanity could rise to the challenge. Lisa noticed that the scouts' attacks were becoming less aggressive. "They are learning," she said. "They realize we are not easy to defeat." Daniel watched the skies with pride. "We are showing them that humanity cannot be erased." For the first time, people on Earth truly understood the message of the return. Survival was not about technology alone. It was about courage, intelligence, and the ability to work together. Emma called a final meeting aboard her ship. "The scouts will continue to test you, but now you know your strength. You have passed the first trials. Humanity is beginning to awaken to its true potential." Alex, Lisa, and Daniel looked at each other. They understood the enormity of what was happening. The future humans had returned not just to give technology, but to guide humanity to recognize its own power. On the ground, people cheered as they watched the fleet maneuver. The city lights of Chicago, London, Tokyo, and other major centers reflected off the ships above, creating a glow of hope. For the first time, humanity saw itself as a single species, capable of surviving against impossible odds. As night fell, Alex stood on the roof again, looking at the fleet.
"We have passed the first test," he said quietly. "But the real challenge is still ahead." "Yes, but we are learning."
"We are ready." Daniel came up behind them. "The coalition will not give up easily, but now we know something important. We can survive."
We will survive. Above them, the fleet of the return glowed softly, forming new patterns in the sky.
They were teaching, guiding, and testing. Humanity had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most advanced enemies. the alien scouts would return stronger and more numerous. But Earth was no longer helpless. The return had awakened the human spirit, and for the first time in history, the species understood the power it had always carried, the power to fight, to adapt, and to survive against all odds. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel realized that their journey was only beginning. The first test had been passed, but the real battle for humanity's survival was still ahead. And as they looked at the stars, they knew one thing with certainty: humanity would not give up. The days that followed the scouts' attack were tense, but filled with determination. Humanity had learned that courage, creativity, and cooperation could overcome even advanced alien technology. But everyone knew the real test was coming. The alien coalition was gathering a massive armada, far larger than the scouts, and it would soon arrive at Earth. Alex Carter stood on the deck of one of the largest return ships, looking at the holographic map of the approaching fleet. Hundreds of thousands of enemy ships were moving through space, converging on Earth. Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. "We've come this far," he said quietly. "But this is the real fight." Lisa Monroe joined him, her eyes scanning the data streams. "We've learned a lot from the scouts," she said. "We know their patterns, their weaknesses, but they will not make the same mistakes again. We have to be ready for anything." Daniel Brooks entered the room, followed by several military leaders. "We've coordinated Earth's defenses and the return fleet," he said. "Every nation is ready to fight together. This is not just a battle for one country. It's a battle for the entire species." Emma Hale appeared on the bridge, her presence commanding attention. "The alien armada is coming," she said. "We have time to prepare, but only just. Every strategy, every maneuver we've practiced will be needed. And you must remember, their technology is advanced, but it cannot predict human creativity. That is our strength. That is what will save us." The Earth below watched the skies with a mixture of awe and fear. Billions of people waited, knowing that this could be the defining moment of their existence. Cities were quiet, but the air was alive with anticipation. People prayed, hoped, and prepared. For the first time, humanity was united, not by borders or politics, but by the need to survive. The alien fleet arrived slowly, a massive wall of darkness against the stars. It was larger than anything humans had imagined. Alex could see it on the holographic map. Thousands upon thousands of ships, each one deadly, moving as a single organism. But the return fleet was ready. 500,000 ships hovered above Earth, their shields glowing, waiting to act. Emma addressed the leaders and crews. "Remember your training. Humanity's survival is not about fear. It is about action, coordination, and unpredictability. We will fight together, and we will survive. Show them what it means to be human." The battle began with a flash of light. Alien ships fired energy pulses toward Earth and the fleet. The return ships responded instantly, creating shields and blocking attacks. The sky glowed with energy, reflecting across oceans and cities. People below watched in awe, unable to believe the power unfolding above them. Alex guided a squadron of ships through complex maneuvers. They weaved in and out, dodging attacks, drawing the aliens into traps. Every movement was calculated, yet flexible, as if the ships were alive. Alex felt a thrill he had never known before. Every choice mattered, and every success proved that humans could rise to any challenge. Lisa monitored communications, sending messages between squadrons. She noticed subtle changes in the aliens' movements. "They're trying to anticipate us," she said, but we're unpredictable. That is their weakness. Missiles, energy shields, and fighter jets combined with the fleet's maneuvers. The human forces on the planet were no longer separate from the fleet. They were one united force. Hours passed. The alien armada pressed forward, relentless and deadly. Ships were destroyed on both sides, but the humans never gave up. Each loss was a lesson, each maneuver a step closer to understanding the enemy. Emma appeared at Alex's side. "Remember," she said, "this is not just about firepower. Show them human creativity, human courage. Make them see that we cannot be erased." Alex nodded, feeling a surge of determination. He led his squadron into a daring maneuver, splitting into multiple smaller groups and creating an illusion of chaos. The alien ships followed, confused and off balance. Then the return fleet regrouped, striking at the gaps and forcing the aliens to retreat in disarray. Lisa watched the data streams, amazed. "It's working," she said. "We are forcing them to respond to us, not the other way around. They can't predict our choices." Daniel shouted orders to coordinate the planetary defenses. Cities were shielded, civilians evacuated, and communication lines maintained. Earth's people were no longer passive observers. They were active participants in the fight for survival. The battle reached a critical point when a group of alien warships attempted to breach the main fleet. Alex guided a daring interception, weaving his squadron through enemy fire to block the attack. The ships collided in energy bursts, but Alex's maneuver held. The enemy was forced to retreat. Emma turned to him. "Excellent work, Alex. That is exactly what we needed. Humanity is showing its strength, and it is enough to turn the tide." Lisa smiled, tears in her eyes. "We're proving what it means to be human. Courage, creativity, cooperation, that is our power." Daniel looked at the sky, his heart swelling with pride. "We are fighting together as one species. The coalition may be strong, but we are stronger." The sky above Earth was filled with glowing shields, flashing energy, and the movements of 500,000 ships. The humans' unpredictability continued to confuse the alien armada. Every maneuver, every tactic, showed them that humanity could not be controlled. Then, as dawn approached, the aliens made a desperate final push. Their largest warships moved directly toward Earth, aiming to destroy key fleet vessels and critical cities. The humans held their ground, but it seemed impossible to stop them all. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel worked together with the return fleet, coordinating one final massive maneuver. Alex led ships in a spiral formation, drawing the enemy into traps. Lisa monitored communications, sending real-time instructions to every squadron. Daniel coordinated Earth's defenses, activating every shield, missile, and fighter jet available. The alien armada faltered. The human strategy was unpredictable, coordinated, and relentless. Their courage and determination became a force no technology could match. One by one, alien ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. The skies glowed with energy, reflecting the humans' victory. Emma addressed everyone aboard the fleet. "The coalition sees what humanity is capable of. They understand that we cannot be erased, that we cannot be controlled. Humanity has survived its first true test." Alex looked at the horizon where the last alien ships were retreating.
"We did it," he whispered. "We really did it." Lisa stood beside him, smiling.
"We have shown them who we are, not just our ships, but our spirit. That is what matters." Daniel nodded, relief washing over him. "This is just the beginning. But now the galaxy knows. Humanity will not give up. We will survive." The return fleet formed a final formation above Earth, signaling victory. People across the globe watched in awe as the ships glowed and moved together. Billions cheered, crying and celebrating. Humanity had faced an impossible threat and survived, united for the first time in its history. Emma turned to Alex, Lisa, and Daniel. The future is no longer written. Humanity has taken its place among the stars. You have proven that courage, creativity, and cooperation are stronger than any force in the galaxy. This is only the beginning, that you have made history. Alex felt a sense of pride he had never known. We were scared, he said, but we didn't give up. We fought together. That is what makes us human. Lisa looked at the glowing fleet. We can go further now. Explore, create, and protect. The future is ours to shape. Daniel smiled, looking at the people celebrating on the streets below. We have survived the impossible, and we will continue to survive. Humanity is stronger than anyone thought. As the sun rose over Earth, the skies were no longer silent. The fleet of the return hovered above, glowing softly, ready to guide humanity into a new age. People everywhere looked up, filled with hope. The alien armada had been defeated, at least for now, but the lesson remained clear. Humanity's strength lay not in weapons or numbers, but in courage, unity, and the unwillingness to surrender. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel stood together, watching the fleet. They knew the journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more enemies, and more tests, but they also knew something vital. Humanity would survive. Humanity would rise, and humanity would never be silent again. The first unified deep space fleet of humanity prepared to launch, carrying people, knowledge, and hope to the stars. Earth had faced extinction, but it had returned stronger than ever. The galaxy had seen the human spirit, and it could not be ignored. Above them, the 500,000 ships of the return glowed softly, a promise and a warning. Humanity would never be erased. And on Earth, billions of humans felt a new sense of purpose. They were no longer just a single planet. They were the beginning of a species that would reach the stars, guided by courage, creativity, and unity. Alex, Lisa, and Daniel watched the skies together. They had faced fear, tested themselves, and discovered the true power of humanity. And as they looked at the glowing fleet above, they knew the future was theirs to shape, for the first time, as a species united.